friends, welcome to the Seedling Stitch Knitting Podcast. My name is Athena. I am a Chinese knitter living in Vancouver, Canada, and this is my little space on the internet where I chat about mainly my knitting projects, also other craft projects, life, any creative endeavors. So welcome or welcome back. I know it's been a long time since my last video. Life has been really busy. I've been developing a few other hobbies like belly dancing and playing the ukulele. So I don't have much time to make videos. Today it is Family Day in British Columbia, Canada, so I finally have some time to make a video, and today I'm going to make everything I've made in 2024, this sort of recap video. So I have a lot of projects showing you here, and also since I don't know when I will have time to make my next video, I will also throw in a few finished projects since the year of 2025. So it is basically everything I've knitted since the beginning of year 2024 video. Phew, so that's a lot. Okay, so I guess without further ado, I'll just get started. So I will start with what I am wearing now, which is also my most proud project. Ta-da! Which is the Hallstadt Pullover, designed by the Japanese designer Tokai Erika. I will put all the yarn information, pattern designer here printed on the screen so that you will have all the information, and also down in the description below. This is a super intense Intarsia project. It is inspired by the town in Austria, Hallstatt. I've never been there, but it seems really beautiful, so maybe someday I will go there. Maybe you want to see the wrong side. So it's very neat. It's not the first this kind of intense Intarsia colorwork project I've knitted. I've also knitted another quite a few other sweaters designed by this designer Tokai Erika. Check her out. She's really good at designing these super picturesque or interesting intense Intarsia colorwork sweaters. I've knitted my wall garden pullover from last year, so 2 years ago. So check that out. So this one, the pattern is not available separately, so it's only comes with the kit, the yarn kit. I ordered it from Japan, and it seems that it is a limited edition kit, so you probably can't find it now. It's not available on the website anymore. It's from Puppy Yarn Japan. I've heard like some people might be able to buy them from local Japanese yarn stores, but that's it. That's how the Japanese designers and Japanese yarn companies sell their things. But it's also good. Like, this is quite an intense color work. There are so many different colors of yarn in it, and they pack it in like 10-gram balls, 5-gram balls, so you don't have to buy much extra. So yeah, here it is. And one thing I really like about this design is that it uses 2 strands of fingering weight yarn throughout, and in the details you can see like the water. This part she uses 1 strand of mohair and 1 strand of like a fingering weight wool yarn, so it's really, it has that blurry reflection water kind of feeling, whereas here it's more solid. It's just 2 strands of wool yarn, so it's a very concrete color. So I really like the design, and also just look at the collar and the cuff details. It's like a special kind of texture, rib stitches with some cabling, so quite proud of it. Yeah, so I think I only have about 2 minutes to talk about each project, so I'll go really fast. Next one I've made for 2025 is a hat. So I have some leftover yarn from this Hallstatt Pullover, and I'll just use the leftover yarn to make a hat. This is my own design. It's the pine and fur hat. I've already published the pattern, but this one I'm revising a few of my old designs this year, and I've changed a few things, changed the gauge a little bit, add one repeat here and reduced one repeat in the rim, and so on and so forth. So I will rewrite the pattern, make it better, make it easier to knit, since I've learned a lot since I designed the first version of pine fur hat. And it also used just like one ball of the silk mohair and one ball of the wool exactly. So it's a perfect like script yarn project. You only need to buy one ball of each type of yarn, then you can make a hat. And this one reminds me of the snow pine, so maybe I'll rename this newer version of the pattern as a snow pine pine and fur hat. So we'll see. So these two are my Chinese New Year sweater mix. Oh, just a side note, it's not Lunar New Year, it's not accurate because the lunar calendar is not the Chinese calendar. The lunar calendar is another calendar that's solely based on the lunar month, whereas the Chinese New Year is based on the Chinese Nongli or agriculture calendar. Is a specific kind of Chinese calendar that is both defined by the lunar month as well as the solar year. So and also the geolocation of China. So the origin comes from China. So it's not quite right to deny the Chinese of it, and it's not accurate to call it Lunar New Year. So if I understand people want to be inclusive, but it's like denying the Chinese part of this Chinese New Year is like you denying the Christian part of Christmas, and you say instead of Merry Christmas, you say a Happy God-born Day or something. So that's just weird. And alternative, you can say Spring Festival. So that's the word that I grew up with. That's the literal translation of 春节, which is what our Chinese people call this. Our New Year is Spring Festival, 春节. So you can say Happy Spring Festival as well. So we usually wear a new sweater. Usually it's in color red, but I happen to make this sweater. I'm very proud of it. So this will be my Chinese New Year sweater, and I'll probably wear this one throughout this video. Okay, so let's time travel back to the year of 2024, and this time I will talk about my projects in different categories, sweaters, socks, and such. And I will also try to rate them from S, A, B, C, D. And I will comment on like how much I like this project, like the happiness, enjoyment level in terms of the design and the knitting process, and also talk a little bit about the variability, like how often I wear it and what I feel when I wear it, because like after a year of owning these garments, I have more to say about the variability compared to when I just finished knitting them when I was very excited. So it's more thoughts on the project. So let me begin. Sweater category, project number 1. Ta-da! I will also put like a Roby video of me wearing it. And by the way, I wear the same skirt throughout these videos. I just sewed that beautiful skirt. So I think it pairs with all my sweaters, and it's a success. So enjoy. This one is the Dufy cable sweater designed by Atelier Naluse. So this is a Japanese design as well. I think this designer, she published a pattern book in Japanese of this sweater by now. So I think you'll be able to buy the book from Japan, like with some difficulty. So that's how sort of I got it. So this is a very intense cable sweater, and I love the back horizontal cable. It's knitted in piece and sewed together, and also there's some embroidery. I didn't do the embroidery exactly the same as the original design, but that's sort of the idea. I also sort of used Christmas color for the embroidery, so it's quite nice. The yarn information, I'll just print them. I use some Chinese yarn, and the whole project is a worsted weight project. So I think I'm going to rate this as S. I think I wear it. I actually don't wear it quite often because I think worsted weight sweater is a bit thick for where I live in Vancouver. It's getting quite warm this year during winter, but it's just so pretty. It's probably my favorite cable sweater, so I will rate it S. And the design just sparkles. I think I will rate everything that makes me feel sparkles S. So yeah, so project number 1. Sweater number 2. Ta-da! This is called the Rosental Sweater, designed by Katarina Vorobeva, knitted with 2 strands of silk mohair. I did a few modifications, mainly the color, like the collar, the cuff. Instead of the regular ribbing, I did a double folded picot edge, which makes the whole piece so elegant and airy. I also like the fabric mated with 2 strands of silk mohair. So this is probably the most elegant piece of knitwear that I have. Like my Euro style is more like it's less dressed up. I think this is the most dressed up sweater that I've knitted, and I like the color. This shade of purple is I like it very much. So this one also I'll rate it tier S. Okay, next one. This is a cabled cardigan. This is my own design. It's called the Logan Roy Cardigan, and I've also knitted a matching hat, which I'll put a photo here. This is for my dad, so I've already gifted it away, so I don't have the hat anymore. So this piece is inspired by the TV series from HBO, Succession. And in the TV show, there is a very powerful, like old money daddy kind of character. And he wears this iconic cable cardigan in this like navy shade of color. It's like a very strong kind of cables, and I was just immediately attracted to the cable in the TV show when I watched it. So I just like tried to copy the design, but also had to change a few things because it's for my own body, so and the gauge and such. But I think I did a good job replicating it. The pattern is for free on Ravelry or by donation, so you can donate $5 for the pattern. I wrote it in like a Japanese style, like the schematics and charts instead of like very with a lot of text instructions as regular English patterns, so that's why I didn't put much work in it, so I don't ask for much money for it. So that's the idea of the pattern. I think like this type of pattern writing suits my creative energy better, because I don't have to spend a lot of time and energy on the logistic side of the pattern writing, which I don't like. So I'll just create something and share it. If you like it, if you can use it, great. If not, I won't ask you much money for it. So it's just, for me, it's just like mainly for my own pleasure, the designing. Okay, and also I found the perfect button, so it's a great project. The yarn is an Irish tweed from Donegal. It's a mohair tweed from Donegal yarn, and the color is blueberry, so I really like the color. Tier A, because I don't like with the shawl color, it's a little bit too much. Like, I designed it because I want to copy the shawl color from the Succession TV show costume, but like when I'm actually wearing it, I find it is just like too hot, and I don't have a lot of occasions to wear it. So tier A, still a really good project, but like not that wearable, just for me personally and in this weather. Okay, next project, we're venturing into the summer spring projects, like lighter projects. This garment, it is called the Himmel Camisole, designed by Yamagara, knitted with wool dreamers sauna with only 2 balls. So I really like this like purple and white tweedy color and design. It's very interesting with like the pleat. It's the first time I learned this construction, and on the back I added 2 other strings, 2 other straps, so make it a bit more elegant and more stable when I wear it. I think it is a tier A. So it doesn't feel very safe to wear it just with itself, because it's a little bit loose, and it's not a no bra type of project, and I really want for summer I really don't like wearing bras. So but in the Roby video you saw that I pair it just with undershirt, and that works. I think I just recently found that I can wear this type of camisole with just a tight undershirt, so that's another way to wear it. So maybe that will spark my interest in wearing this more. Also because of the wool component, it's like a wool cotton blend, so it's not perfect summery. So tier A, still like it. All right, next one. Ta-da! So this is a mesh sweater, my own pattern. I'm calling it Lilac Haze by now, but the pattern is not out yet. So one little announcement, I guess. I think I talked about it last time, that I'm planning to write a book. I've contacted a Chinese knitting publisher, and they like to publish a book with me. So I'm going to write my first knitting book in Chinese. So it is going to be quite a few knitting projects, patterns, as well as some essays about knitting, like my thoughts on knitting, just like a few essays, and I mean, maybe some instructions or my thoughts about like the difference between English knitting patterns and Japanese knitting patterns, because that's sort of where my interest lies in, because I live in these 2 different knitting worlds with different aesthetics, inspirations, and ways of writing patterns. So I have some thoughts on that, and I've started to write this book. There are going to be a few new designs, And also, just in a few moments, I will show you a few new designs that you've never seen that is going to be in the book. And I hope eventually I'll be able to publish an English knitting book as well, like translated or anything, or at least publish individual patterns in English, and I translate them by myself. So I don't know. I hope that will happen. So say good luck to me. So this is one of the patterns that's going into the book. My editor says that I shouldn't. I should keep some designs secret, but I guess if I only like flash you some projects in the videos but not post them on Instagram or anything, I guess that's fine. So yeah, it's really hard for me to keep secrets, so I'll keep showing you my designs. This is the Lilac Haze sweater, inspired by the lilac flowers in my hometown Harbin. And it is a mesh sweater knitted with the silk yarn. So I'm not sure how I feel about this design. I think the color-wise, it's a bit too purple. Like the saturation is a bit too high. I think maybe it's a tier. I think I'd still say it's a tier A, because it's not the most wearable, but when I wear it, it reminds me of the lilac flowers, and it's a slightly different style than my normal wearing, but I think pairing with an like tight undershirt is still pretty good. So still tier A garment. All right, next one is a suit of patterns, I guess. So this is the shorts #1, and matching with it is the camisole #6, both designed by my favorite things, knitwear. I chose to knit this because I wanted to learn how to knit shorts, and this seems to be a simple shorts, and I want to knit some sort of loungewear to wear at home in summer. It's a DK weight. I knitted with one strand of light fingering weight wool and one strand of cotton linen yarn. So I don't know. I think that I like the color, but I don't like the feeling when I'm wearing, especially for the shorts, because I have to sit on the shorts, and this knitted fabric with a little bit of wool in it, it's just too scratchy, and it will add an imprint to my thighs after I stand up. So it's not really good for summer anymore. So it's a little bit weird to wear it. I don't know if it's like for hot weather or for warm weather or for cool weather anymore. So like the shorts, I think it might have to go to tier C, just because of I don't like wearing it. Nothing about the pattern. The pattern is clear and easy to knit and enjoyable. I still learn from it, but just for this piece of garment, it's a tier C. The camisole, however, I think the camisole can go to tier B. It's although there's some wool in it, but it's loose enough so it's not too hot. Like there's still some wind can go into it, but it's more like a loungewear style, not going to dress up and wear it to any formal meetings. So that's it. And keep going. So these are some new finished objects for you. I've never posted them anywhere. Ta-da! So this is the I think I'm going to call it Tristan Farnon vest. It's my own design, inspired by the TV show All Creatures Great and Small. There's the character Tristan that he wears this a similar design vest. So I was immediately attracted to that and decided to copy the design. So TV knitting is sort of a theme of this year. And this is also one of the patterns that's going to my knitting book. So no patterns for you for now, but enjoy the beautiful color work. This is, for me, I really like it. I'm going to put this one in tier S because this makes me so joyful and reminds me of the TV show, like all the joy I got from the TV show. And this is just a nice weight. I work from home a lot, so when I work from home, like my home is not cold, this is the best thickness and the best shape. I like wearing vest on top of a shirt or like an undershirt, tight undershirt type of thing. And with that, that's the exact good, perfect temperature for me to wear it. And it's also quite formal, or business casual, if you will. Like it's okay if I'm wearing it in a Teams meeting, for example. So this is just really perfect, and I like the length. It's sort of a crop length for me, and pairing with the skirt or pants, it's just very neat. So it's the exact shape that I'm looking for in a Farrell vest. I think in the future, when I design new Farrell projects, I'll probably just use this shape for a vest, or just like make little adjustments. And it's very bright color. It's just, the color just really pops. So yeah, tier S. Next one. This is completely new. You haven't seen it anywhere. I haven't posted the finished project anywhere. It is also a vest. It's designed by me. I'm going to call it, I think, ice frost. The inspiration is the ice frost on the windows when in the winter or in the autumn when the weather is really cold, and like in the older type of windows. I think in the newer windows it doesn't have the ice frost right now. So all these kibbling are inspired by like the panels of ice frost on the windows, and I think the back, you might like the back more. Like on the back, the cable is more integral or whatever. And I found the perfect buttons. So the button is the exact color of the of the yarn. The yarn is another type of Donegal tweed I bought from West Coast Wools, my local yarn store, and also the yarn store that I've worked in for 2 years. Quite a while. I worked there until last year in May. And then after that, life became busy, so I couldn't work there anymore. But it's been a good time, and they still carry this type of wool yarn. I think I'm biased about my own design. I'm not. Of course, I'm biased, or else why I spend energy to design it. So this is going to be, I think it's going to be in tier A. It's not in tier S because it's a little bit too thick. It's knitted on 5mm needles, so it's an iron weight or a heavy worsted weight. I like the shape of a vest, but it's still a little bit too hot. It's very sheepy. Like I can still, after 2 washings, I can still smell the strong lanolin in it. It's great. It's quite great, and I like the cables. All right. So that's all the sweater projects. And I'm going to move on to accessories. So next category is the socks. These are all the socks I've knitted this year. As you may know, I am a very devoted sock knitter. At this point, I only wear my own knitted socks, except for like when doing some sports, I have to wear those like sports or like Pilates socks, that sort of thing. But other than that, when I'm at home, I always wear my hand knitted socks. The first group of socks is the Stardew Valley socks. These are designed by Oakwood Knits. These are knitted across the year, so it's a set of designs featuring spring, summer, autumn, and winter designs. You can find the patterns on Ravelry and inspired by the video game Stardew Valley. I love the game, love the design. I made a few modifications, like change it to a toe up and just like change the number of repeats and like a little bit of things just to fit my own foot better. But other than that, it's pretty much the original pattern. I didn't use the original suggested yarn. Because I knit a lot of color work projects, I have a lot of leftover colorful finger and weight yarns, like Shetland yarn from the Farrell projects, and I also bought some like a version of Chinese Shetland nylon blend yarn, which are really good for this type of socks. So I arranged the color by myself, arranged the yarn color scheme by myself, and don't ask me to list them because they're really random. Like some of them are even just gifted by my grandma, so there's like no name and no brand. So if you really like my color arrangements, you can just like try to look at the colors and figure out the colors by yourself, like find similar colors by yourself. So these are definitely tier S material or like S plus, like super duper whatever. Like these are really good. And I'm very proud of it, and knitting them respectively in the 4 seasons make me honor the passing of the season. It's just like the knitting process is good, the results is good, and I post the photos on Instagram. I got like 30,000 likes, and that's just likes. It's not even just views. So it's crazy. It just like got picked up. It was more viral than any of my other posts. So I think I think like people really like it. I also like it. I wonder which one would be your favorite. I think my personal favorite is the winter one, as I like the mystical color scheme, and also winter is my favorite season, so I'm biased in that way. The summer one is pretty good as well. Spring is pretty good. I posted a survey on the Chinese social media Red Note, and like thousands of people voted, and the winter one won, like with like over 1,000 votes for the winter one, and the summer was I think second, and I don't remember like either the autumn one or the spring one went the third and the fourth. So I really love them and proud of my knits. Okay, more socks. This is the sock. So it's my own pattern, but the stitch pattern, like the little sock pixel art, is designed by Andrea Rangel from her book Natal Vision. I arranged her like sock pixel art a little bit just to stagger them, and made her sock pattern into a full sock pattern. It's a free pattern on Ravelry. Feel free to grab it. I think it's very cute. It is an ovation to my love for sock knitting. I think it's just because of the yarn. It's a little bit thicker than I'd like, so I'm going to put it in tier A. So still very happy, but just like a little bit too hot for me to wear it. Yeah. Going further, another pair of socks. This is the tennis socks. Knitted tennis socks is from the 52 Weeks of Socks Volume 2 by Lane Magazine. I used the yarn Retrosaria Mondium. It's a full wool yarn. I like the color, but it's just a little bit scratchy, and it wears. I think it's okay. It's not. It gets a little bit thinner after some wearing, but not to the point that I had to mend it. So it's still okay. And even if I had to, I have some left over of this yarn that I can just like duplicate stitch it. So that's not a problem. I think it's just the pure wool component. It's making me feel a little bit scratchy on the foot. But I really like the design. It's like showing your identity of a knitter and showing your love for sock knitting. So it's a fun project, and I'm happy to wear it. And design is like simple but effective. So it's going to be a tier A material. Going forward, I have just 2 more pair of plain socks. These are my own pattern, the no frills toe-up socks. It's just a regular toe-up socks, but I think I used K3P2 ribbing, which is not on the original pattern. My pattern only has like K3P1 ribbing and K2P2 double ribbing. Or just a plain stockinette, but I like how it looks on K3P2, so maybe on a newer version or in my book I might add the K3P2 version of this sock that I really like. The yarn I really like. It's the Opal Van Gogh edition socks. So this is inspired by the Van Gogh sunflower, and this is inspired by the Van Gogh a painting about a bridge. So I really like this yarn, and I like the Opal socks yarn. It's like a very good balance between wool and the durability of polyamide. Very wearable, like wearing it a lot, so it's going to be a tier A material. Following that is some fuzzy socks knitted with a Chinese boucle yarn, and so it's socks and leg warmers. And when I was doing preparing for this video, I realized that I never wore this pair since I finished knitting it. Like, never wore it since August, since this autumn and this winter. So it's a little bit awkward. It's too thick. And my intention to knit this was so that I have like a lounge socks, like a slipper sock, something that I can wear at home. But like at home, I just wear my other fingering weight socks. This is like a DK weight. The pattern is my own. I kind of just change up my no frills toe up socks to a DK weight with like 48 stitches per round. But it looks super cute. It looks a teddy bear socks, but it just never found the occasion to wear it. So that's a little bit sad, and that makes this a tier C material. The leg warmer, however, I digged up the leg warmer like 2 weeks ago when Vancouver was snowing. It was quite cold, and I like to wear leggings, and I'll just like slip this on my shin or around my knee, so that it became the perfect temperature for me. Also, with my hand knitted socks and the leg warmer, it's really good. So this one, I'm going to make it, I think, tier B, because it's still quite wearable. Okay, so that's all the socks I've knitted. And next, let's go to the neck category, like shawl and scarves. So in chronological order, the first one I knitted is this entrelac cowl thing. It was a fun knit. I used some scrap yarn from my wall garden project, so it's so colorful, like a lot of red and pink shades, and also blue and purple. Unfortunately, I'm going to put it in tier D, so it's going to be the lowest tier of all my knits, because I just never find the occasion to wear it, and it's just like, it's too funny. It reminds me of a circus clown, and it doesn't fit any of my style. It's also it's like it's with wool and mohair, so it's quite scratchy on the neck, and it looks okay on itself, but when I wear it on the neck, it just doesn't stay. It just doesn't stay properly. It's too funny. It's too funny. Like learning to knit entrelac, that was fun, but I just hate to wear it, so that's really sad. So it's and like I can't even gift it to anyone. Who would want this? I don't know. So yeah. So maybe, oh, actually I just realized maybe I should just like hang it as a wall art, as like like frame it in, like put it in a frame and hang it on the wall. That looks quite cute, right? So maybe I'll just like put it on my mood board just for fun. Okay, next up is scarf. It's just like a wide garter stitch kind of design, like it's in a similar shape to the Sophie scarf. I saw the design solo scarf by, I don't remember, by some designer. I just like sort of copied the design, but it wasn't exactly the same. Like it's just a very plain 4-stitch garter, wide garter scarf. Like you don't really need to buy a pattern on it. It's so simple. I like this variegated yarn. The shade is nice, the green shade, and the length is good. Like I can wear it double. So I did wear it a lot in winter, and it pairs well with my other garment. It's plain and simple, so it's going to be tier A. Next up is such a delicate scarf. It is my own design. I think I've showed it a few videos ago. I've not yet named it. It's inspired by the lace pattern from a sweater that my grandma knitted when she was younger, and I changed a few things. The color, I really like the color, and it pairs really nice with this Hallstatt Pullover. So it has the same shade as on the mountains. So it's really nice, and the yarn is a Kiviuk yarn that I bought on my trip to Banff. So it's a very special Canadian yarn with the Kiviuk, the Kiviuk fiber from the muskox, and it's a Kiviuk and silk and merino blend. And as you can see, after I wear it for quite a while, it becomes fuzzier, and the lace just looks so delicate, and it's so soft on the neck. It's so comfortable and so warm, and I love the color so much. So this is definitely a tier S material. Love everything about this one. And the pattern is going to be in my book. And well, I was on the actually this yarn is gifted by Jingyi when she was traveling to Banff, and I love the yarn so much that when I was traveling to Banff, I bought another 2 balls of this yarn and gift knitted these scarves for my mom and my mother-in-law. I hope they will like these respective colors. Mine is like with 3 triangle. And I knitted a narrower. I think the narrower is more delicate when you wear it, and I hope they will like it. And I also, with some leftover yarn, I just knitted a small one with the leftover yarn for myself and some egg cord. So there's not going to be a pattern. This is just a random thing. So love the yarn, love the color, love the pattern. So yeah. Next one. Next one is this. You haven't seen. This is completely new. So this is the first shawl I've knitted, like the big shawl, and it's knitted with the fingering weight yarn and with a delicate edge pattern. And I think this one, it's my own design or a copy design, because it's inspired by my grandma's shawl. So my grandma gifted me this one that she knitted when she was younger, and I just tried to replicate the design and knitted my own ones, but I changed the gauge, and I don't know if the pattern is the same way because my grandma doesn't remember how she knitted it, but so I replicated as much as I can. And I think this is going to be a tier A. It's also a pattern that goes into my knitting book. I like how you can wrap it around once and again to be really warm, and you can also just wear it as like a very elegant old lady, like a lady who loves lace shawl, like a traditional Shetland shawl pattern. So yeah, I unfortunately I didn't wear it that much, just because I didn't quite find the occasion to wear it. It's very thin but also very big, so I only wore it a few times in this winter season, and the color, I think it's a nice shade of green, but it doesn't really pop in the winter. I think in the winter I have a lot of dark coats, so I actually want some like leather color that can make me really happy. So the color isn't it just doesn't sparkle, so I think I'm going to put it in tier B. So that's all the neck accessory, and then I'm going to talk about hats. I don't have a lot of hats, so this is the first hat I've made in 2024. It's called Tarn Tam, designed by Marie Wallen. Although I changed the color scheme completely using some random stash yarn, so like stash Shetland yarn or Shetland nylon blend, so it's quite random. I think I'm going to put it in tier B. I think the color is just too much. I knitted this thinking that I can put my bike helmet on it, but like the yarn is not thin enough, so I don't wear it with my biking helmet. I just like wear it with itself, and I think the contrast and the saturation of the colors is just a bit too much for me. So I want the color to sparkle, but not sparkle this much. It's difficult. Arranging colors is difficult, so it's going to be tier B. Yeah. Next one is a hood thingy. It's called the Grandma Core hood, designed by Kutova Kika. Knitted with the same variegated yarn with like the white garter scarf that I just showed you, and it's a lace hood. It's kind of cute. I'll wear it for you, but I learned that this kind of hood, they look cute, but they are not really for me. So I'm not going to knit this type of hood anymore, because I really don't like the restriction on the turning of my neck. Especially when I'm biking, wearing this restricted my movement of turning left and right, and I just hate. I already have bad eyesight, and I don't want any more things to construct my viewing of the world. I think a problem with the style of this kind of hood is that it's just not very practical. Like, it looks pretty, especially when you don't wear them. Like, you just like slip them on your neck and don't wear the hood up. That looks very chill and pretty, but like when you wear them, it looks kind of silly. And it's also not warm because it doesn't cover this part of your head. And especially when it's very windy, the wind just like blows through here and makes it very chilly. So it's not working unless you gather gather here around your face and cover the top of your head, but that will just it looks even sillier. So I don't think it's a practical piece, and I still want my knits to be practical. So I think in terms of hat, I'd still prefer like the traditional hat design that can cover the part of my head, and also then I'll just wear another piece for my neck. So I don't think I'll knit a hood like design anymore. It's just not for me. So I think this is a tier B. Not too bad, just not practical. Alright, so moving forward, I'll talk about the mitten hand accessory category, and this is my own design. I published the pattern for free or by donation on Ravelry by the name of Vintage Shanghai Mittens, because the pattern is a modification of a Shanghai a Stitch dictionary book from like the 1980s from Shanghai, donated by my university professor who learned that I was into knitting and like found that book from his home in Shanghai. So it was a precious and meaningful design for me, and it's just like a Latvian style triangle triangle mitten. The pattern is also going to be in my knitting book. I think I'll like do a few modifications and like write the pattern a bit more polished in the book. This is knitted for my husband, and he really likes it, like especially for biking. You can see there's a glove insert that he put into it because he bikes a lot, and in winter it's very rainy in Vancouver, and the wool can even if it gets wet in the rainy weather, it still keeps you warm. So I think this is the only piece of knitwear that he accepts me. He accepts that I knit it for him. So like in the future, like I can probably only knit him mittens. Like he doesn't like sweaters or socks or anything else. It's like it just doesn't fit him properly and not practical for him. This is the only practical things. And also I just like design, this design I think is very pretty. So it's going to be an tier-esque because it got used a lot and it's pretty and it's my own design, so there's the own design bias extra point. Alright, I have another mitten or gloss that I've gifted away to my cousin. I'll put picture here. The design is called, the pattern is called X-Ray. It's a free pattern on Ravelry. It's a color work mitten with the shape of bones, and I've knitted the 5-finger version so that like when you move your fingers, the color work bone moves with you, and I really love the pattern. It's really fun. So I think I might knit it again for my husband, or I don't know, it's just a fun pattern, and especially if I'm knitting it with like a green fluorescent yarn, it's gonna be even funnier in the dark. So I think that's a tier S because it's just such a fun project, and I highly recommend you try it. Alright, so that's all the finished project since the beginning of year 2024. I hope you enjoy it. It's quite a lot. So in the end, I'll just like chat a little bit about my life, my thoughts. So I want to admit that in the last half of 2024, I felt very uninspired about knitting. Like I had this feeling that knitting or design, it's just combining the stitch patterns. And what's new about stitch patterns? It's just lace, it's just the cable and color work, and you just slap them together. And like when I look at the new designs from famous designers, I just feel unimpressed and not very inspired, and I don't feel inspired about making my own designs that much. It just feel like there's nothing new in knitting. I just had this feeling, and it's just not good. And in the beginning of this year, when I was working on this project and living my life, I had this new thought or new revelation that it's not just about the technical things. It's not just about like putting all the difficult, delicate stitch patterns together. I mean, sure, you can knit the most difficult stitch patterns and design very complicated sweaters if that's your thing. But I think for me, I started to look at knitwear design or any other creative endeavors in my life that it's about telling a story. Like what narrative am I bring to you with this piece of knitwear or garment? Like with my own, for me, my own designs is usually about some there's usually some story behind it, like this is from a TV show that I'm interested in, or this is about my hometown, about the lilac flower, or about a feeling, an emotion that I experienced. So and I use the stitch pattern to express it, or I use the yarn combination and the colors to express it. And like knitting or yarn fiber art, it's just a media that I use to tell you a story or to express a feeling. So like with this new perspective, when I look at other designers, I start to think like what story she's telling me with this piece of design. I think just a personal opinion, I feel like some designers, there's not much story behind it, and that's the sort of design that I find just boring. Like it's just, I don't know, just a plain stockinette sweater with like a very a very neutral color and a very common yarn blend. It looks good. Okay, it looks business casual, it looks elegant or whatever, but there's just, maybe it wants to transfer to you a sort of cozy vibe, but for me, it just doesn't work. Whereas like some designers, I feel like they tell a story. Like this sweater I'm wearing, it's telling me told Erika, the designer, when she was traveling to Hallstatt, probably she was maybe amazed by the beautiful scenery in Hallstatt, and like I just feel like this kind of the buildings and the natural scenery, there's some story there, there's some vibe there, and she's telling me these, and it just flows so naturally. So I think that's where I'm going forward for my own knitting design, and to think about what story I want to tell with this piece of design. So I feel like recently, like the pattern writing industry is like becoming more like an industry where someone make a design and other people just try to replicate it because they think it looks pretty. It's not so much different from like if you just go to a store, go to Zara and H&M and look like, oh, this is a nice pretty dress and I'll just buy it. Like I feel like some part of the knitting pattern hand knits community is becoming like that, where you just see a nice design and you just want to replicate it. I mean, there's nothing bad about it. I guess if I guess it's okay if you just want to replicate something that's pretty. I just like, speaking of my own personal experience, that's not what I am aiming for by performing hand knitting. So I think it's like a rebel against consumerism, probably. So I think I'm babbling far away. And what else? I want to chat about my New Year plan. That is going to be, I try to finish writing my knitting book. It's going to be about 4-season knitting, so it's gonna be in multiple themes. I have 4 pieces of the design that represents under this theme what 4 seasons of knitting I worked. So it's sort of like that. So with the progression of seasons, you honor the season with a piece of your own craft. So I think it's very meaningful, and I think it expresses my own value and my own views towards knitting, as well as like making things with your own hands very well. Alright, so I guess that's all I want to say. I hope it didn't went too long. Glad to be back making these videos, and I hope I'll have more time to make more videos in this year, but I don't know. I only made 6 videos last year, so I hope I at least make 6 videos in this year. Alright, if you like my video, like my chat, please consider like, subscribe if you haven't. You can support me on Ko-fi, just like by one-time donations, buy me a ball of yarn or a cup of coffee, a croissant, or you can also donate a few dollars for all the free patterns that I've made, and I also have a few paid patterns on Ravelry as well as on my Ko-fi page. You can find me on Instagram, Ravelry, anywhere under the name SD underline Athena or Athena Liu. Alright, so I hope you enjoyed this video, and at the end of my video I always play a bit of piano. Today, since I have showed you the Stardew Valley socks, I'm going to play a song, the winter themed song from the Stardew Valley game. It's called The Wind Can Be Still. Okay, so happy knitting, happy crafting, have a nice day, bye!